Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. We're so sorry for the delay this morning. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're going to jump right in with agilesWorkflow. If you have any questions, type them in. I'll get them called out and answered for you. And Alma and Gary, I'll hand it right over to you.
Thank you, Abby. Hello, everyone. My name is Alma Harrison from agilesWorkflow. I am the International Partner Manager, and I'm very happy to be here today with a special guest, Gary Winter, who has all the knowledge and the structure behind agilesWorkflow. Up to you, Gary.
Too much, Alma, but very warm welcome from me as well from Hamburg, Germany. We will show you a little bit of how workflow works and what it can do to you in a demo today. But before we get to that, I would like to take the opportunity to explain a little bit of what good workflow can actually do for you and what the word workflow means, because workflow has been a buzzword that has been used for a lot of technical details and functions and features, and I would like you to understand what we mean with agilesWorkflow. Just let me see how I can get to the next slide. Do you have an idea, Alma?
Should be next.
Okay.
I lost audio there for a moment. Are you guys having difficulties?
I hear you now. I hear you now. We were just having difficulties to run the PowerPoint. Sorry about that. We just need to get to the next slide. Okay, which does not seem to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties to getting to the next slide. I can promise you that the software itself has much less technical problems than we are experiencing today.
Please go to meeting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. The workflow is not just about presenting next steps or what you traditionally know or think about when you think in terms of workflow. What we experience in our business life, but also in our daily life, is that things are getting more complex. And it's not only that processes are getting more complex, the software that should help us to handle these processes are getting more complex as well. And especially what happens is that our response times are getting shorter. So people expect us to call immediately, to react to mails, to react to team chats or whatever. So our time that we have to react to tasks or to requirements are getting shorter, almost every year. So a lot of what we can do about it is put things on an automated basis and increase the automation in the day that we do. So if you think about automation in loans, automation in contracts, or in mortgages, whatever you do, what helps you are automated tasks and automated processes. And that is actually what workflow is about a great deal. It's about automating your flow of work, your flow of processes, giving you help in the background that looks whether certain tasks can be done and achieved by the software itself, having a software that constantly monitors data and that also constantly monitors the passing of time and creates alerts or even does tasks in an automated way according to what has been set up. And agilesWorkflow in that respect can be applied to a variety of different business processes. What this slide here shows you is just also an extract of all the business cases in which agilesWorkflow has been successfully implemented. If you look into sales and marketing, demand generation, customer activity and billing, all of this can be automated if certain criteria are met. Quality assurance or the monitoring the product life cycle in the operations and procurements sector. All of that can be done, can be assisted and supported rather nicely with help from an automation system that knows your processes, that is set up according to your processes and can help you run through these processes. agilesWorkflow is being used to increase customer satisfaction life cycle in that it automatically detects when certain mails come in and and alert people to the fact that we have a claim or some sort of issue. This goes hand in hand with help desk functionality and, of course, what is becoming increasingly more important, mobile enablement. We're not only doing work when we're sitting behind our desks looking into our Windows clients. We're kind of reachable and approachable for much longer time than we used to be 10 or 20 years ago. People expect us in our business life to have mobile devices to be reachable via the web, via a web client. We have tablets and smartphones, and it's simply expected of us to react and solve tasks, even if we're just not sitting behind our desks. And this is where agilesWorkflow supports you in that it gives you alerts and information that is tailor-made to the form factor of your device and allows you to answer, to review information and to take decisions in a very simple way. So you will on a smartphone, for instance, not find the same richness of information up front that you will find on the desktop client, but you will find a key question, the possibility to get more information, and a key action that is, for instance, approve or disapprove. agilesWorkflow is being used a lot in this area of finance and administration. Again, a lot for contract approvals, for vendor approvals, the whole invoice processing. So approvals is always a big domain of agilesWorkflow, but also the correct setting up of master data. Whatever can be done in the process afterwards is always dependent on how good and how well qualified and how nicely set up your master data are. If you think of a customer or a vendor, for example, a customer can only be fully active, if lots of departments have contributed to filling in all the information that is needed on the customer record. You need to have name and address, of course, but you also need to have sales and marketing information. You need to have pricing information. You need to have the whole financial setup. Of course, in smaller companies, this can be done by one person alone, or needs to be done by one poor person alone who has to collect all the information. In slightly bigger, still small and medium business companies, in slightly bigger companies, you have a segregation of concerns where you have the financials guy who is only responsible for getting the posting groups and the VAT posting groups ready. You have a sales and marketing department that supplies information on a more personal level or about websites, mail addresses, and so on. So you have a lot of tasks in a certain process order that you need to fulfill before a customer should really become usable in your system. And agilesWorkflow helps you to structure these tasks, to bring them in the correct order, to check whether every mandatory field is really filled out. And if you know NAV, and I think some of you all of you know NAV, then you know that NAV asks for a lot of mandatory fields itself. So NAV has something like an implicit workflow. You cannot use a customer in an order if the customer doesn't have a posting group. Fine. But these mandatory fields are not really all the fields that you would like to define as mandatory. I'm pretty sure about that, like having a correct address, having the address checked automatically. All of these fields might be mandatory to you, although they are not mandatory to the implicit workflow system of Microsoft Dynamics NAV. So you can set this up, set up who's responsible for each task, and you can have the workflow check automatically when all the mandatory fields are filled, and then unblock the customer so that only at that time the customer will be fully available on your system. And agilesWorkflow can actually monitor this customer for forever. Kind of, it can go on monitoring it, so that if at some stage somebody changes a field, takes out a field, then the customer might get blocked again, or somebody may alert it to it. That's just a small example of how agilesWorkflow structures your processes in regard to master data, without the need to write additional code. You know, what standard NAV always checks is coded, so it's in the code base. What we offer is to, or what agilesWorkflow does, is to respond to your every need, to the requirements that you have on top of the NAV standard, without the need to go to coding. So you can set that up yourself on the user interface. Last topic in this on this side, human resources. Of course, onboarding of employees is a similarly complex process as setting up a customer or a vendor. Maybe it's even more complicated because you need to collect all sorts of external information before that happens. You need to link him or her to the right user groups and so on. So all of this needs to be set up until you can efficiently and effectively use that new employee. Yeah, then I hope that that is quite clear how that works and where the benefits are. Now let's get down to a bit more closer to the software and what it does. What you see here is the role center of NAV, of course. And as you can see, that role center provides some sort of structure. You may call that some sort of workflow yourself, itself. And we have made a role center that allows you to extend that on every step. You see a bit of a drawing here of how a workflow can be defined internally so that you have the processes that guide you to next steps, have iterations, or guide you out again to a different flow. And this role center, which has been specifically designed for agilesWorkflow, allows an administrator to always have the overview of what needs to be set up and how the software is being used, like how many tasks do certain team members have, is the number of tasks possibly getting critical, very important information to an administrator and also to a team manager or the lead of a department. So what in essence agilesWorkflow is all about is to allow you to do faster and more efficient processing, to take away the need to handle everything manually and in an analog way, but helps you to analyze data and take decisions automatically or semi-automatically based on the data. That helps you to reduce your costs because it helps you to shorten the time that you need to take a decision, and it provides you with a lot more overview. We talked about improved data quality, and along with that also document management, so that you do not need to chase down every document in paper anymore and try to find it in some of your cupboards, but can integrate document management and data handling. That leads, as we have witnessed, to an increased staff satisfaction, and that is a point that is very important to me. Also with my development team, actually. We believe that progress and the business development in a company mainly works through increasing the satisfaction of the staff. If they are happier working together and working towards one goal, if it's easier for them, then the company automatically produces better results. We try to be very attentive to that factor, and we've seen that agilesWorkflow can support you in doing that. Maybe the opposite of increased staff satisfaction is regulatory compliance, because that's what the authorities tell you that you need to do. Of course, NAV looks into some regFs, as they're called, so into some regulatory features and provides regulatory compliance out of the box, especially in the financials department, but not all of what you need. Like, you may have regulatory compliance that is absolutely not covered by the NAV standard. For instance, if you're dealing with EDI, for instance, if you're dealing with certain formats in industry segments, and agilesWorkflow is being used as a horizontal support across all industry segments. So this is available for each and every vertical industry segment that you may do, and all of these segments may have some sort of regulatory compliance issues or features that that the standard NAV simply does not support. So what, to me, agilesWorkflow is not a workflow tool at all. It just has this name that was like when we started this this horizontal approach, which now has gone to 150 countries around the globe. Workflow was what that was called. Today I would call it a productivity suite. That's really what it is. It boosts your productivity. It helps you to be more productive, to be more efficient at your work, and to do your work on a happier note, actually. So how does your productivity get boosted? By what workflow offers? Just a short example. It gives you guidance like on every single day of your business life. It can show you what tasks you need to do and which of these tasks are getting critical. So what is important to do? I know you all have a lot to do every day, but sometimes it's not so easy. Even with the great filtering and the great searches that NAV allows, it's not so easy to find out what the important task, the most important task at hand is right now. And agilesWorkflow gives you that possibility to see that each and every time. And also you could be working on in a task-driven way only. You could just go into your task folder and work down one task after another. And what's also important is that your team lead, for instance, can have a look at things that start to get critical, maybe because there is a shortage in staff today, because it's been a holiday or somebody is on sick leave, and suddenly he sees there are too many tasks that are getting very urgent, piling up on one or two people. So he can kind of distribute the tasks more evenly and more justly among the staff. So giving guidance and also giving team leads the possibility to see where guidance and where interference may be needed. Okay, this is an example of how you can easily set up conditions. So of course every task is always dependent on a condition that's being met. Workflow lets you set up your conditions in a very smooth and guided process. And these conditions are not only fields that have a certain value. What is most important to me is that the passing of time sometimes makes tasks critical or not critical, simply because it is an hour later or because it is another day. We're getting closer to a deadline, and tasks suddenly become very urgent. That is something that the Dynamics NAV standard just keeps ignoring. So we have an engine in the background that monitors the passing of time and connects the urgency of your specific to-dos to that passing of time, making them more urgent or less urgent. And you have a constant monitoring of all the conditions and an easy setup by means of filters. And of course, out of the box, we deliver some predefined conditions because we know what Microsoft Dynamics NAV is all about and where conditions are most important and which conditions are most important. So the idea is it allows you to approve processes which need approval anytime, anywhere, and on any device. I already talked about that, the need to be reachable and approachable, and to also react and answer in an easy way at any time. If you just have access to a huge screen which works on a desktop, it is very hard to even enter the right decision if you're working on a smartphone, for instance, with a different form factor. So that has been taken into consideration as well. And what you see here is a workflow of how a customer is being set up. We talked about that earlier as well, and what is to do. And this setup here is extremely critical. It even shows you a bomb here at the this icon here at the beginning, and the rest is already yellow, so it's already on a high alert. In a high alert mode. We sincerely hope that you will not get in the situation that you see here in this in this picture. And you can always, of course, drill down and look into what is connected to these tasks. And some of these tasks may actually be done automatically by agilesWorkflow, and some may need your well-trained hand. That's the idea. Users have a constant overview over what they need to do in order of urgency, and that's done by the lists that you've seen, but also, of course, by these tiles, which have these modes of yellow, green, and red, and show you exactly how many tasks are open that you need to handle. What is very important, I've said this, workflow is available for every vertical industry. It allows you to define processes across any standardized or individual data that you may need. So it does not only work on the NAV standard, but it works on any individual or any vertical product table. The setup process is always the same. Of course, our pre-settings are primarily targeted at the NAV standard because we don't know your systems, but your setups can go to any individual table that you may have. It works in exactly the same way. So it doesn't need to be enhanced by development just because you have a great vertical, which is the main target of agilesWorkflow. We will come now to the demo part, so enough of me for today, and I hand it over to David, who is the guy who actually works in our customer care, but also does a lot of demos, and I hand it over to him now.
Yes, Abby, you could please give rights for presenter to David, who's already waiting. David is the man in charge. So.
Alma, I'm so sorry. I don't have the option to give David, make David the presenter, just you.
Oh, sorry.
I don't have David here.
Okay. I guess he's in the other link.
Should I just get him here? Is that a possibility? Could he be working on your machine, or?
Well, I believe he was in the call. He just pinged me.
If we can get him logged in as a staff member, I can definitely give him the presentation, but I don't have him here yet.
So you are not in the call. You are.
Hi, this is David. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you, David.
Good, great. Now I'm also here. I was sitting in the other office, but now I came over. Where's the mouse? No mouse existing. Okay, let's see. I just have to get along here on the other computer. 1 second. Is this? No, not that one. Okay. It's you.
It's Inovia will love you.
Good. Okay. Then we just have to do a little setup because I'm using here now another computer. Just set up. Can I already start? No, Harrison is not there yet. Okay, I'm just setting up Alma as a user here, as an employee for the workflow, so that we can start our little demo. Okay. So good. Then let's check if the setup is there. Yeah, everything's fine. So what I'm showing you today, I think I've talked to some of you last time, last month it was. There I showed you a workflow that was for master data, for I think a new customer workflow, where it asks the users to set up certain mandatory fields or send out certain documents and so on. Today I would like to show you another kind of workflow for approvals of purchase orders, so that you can see yeah, what is possible in this respect. I have to search again a bit. I would like to show you what the scenario looks like. Maybe you know it if you have the scenario data. It's scenario number 14. Just one moment. Okay. It's about, just to show you a small picture, it's this scenario I want to show you, this workflow that says if a purchase order is created and has a certain line amount over all lines in sum, that is here greater than $1,000, then the workflow will trigger. Oh, here's a nice German description in this field. This means just a purchase order approval. So it's a workflow for a purchase order approval. The rest is English again. Then we start a to-do group that is split up then into some different to-dos. You can see here the to-do template 1 is the department manager approve. That will take place if the order amount is bigger than $1,000, then this first level is to approve the order. And then, of course, it can happen that the purchase is rejected by this department manager. This is handled in to-do number 2. It's this one here. But if the purchase order is approved, then it can go through the other steps with to-do 3 here, CFO approve, and to-do 5, the manager approve, the managing director approval. It's a bit further described here in the text, because if it's over €1,000, then the head of department will be notified and approves. If it's over €25,000, then the CFO also has to approve, and if it's over €50,000, then the managing director has to approve. That's why we have these 3 steps. And of course, on every level, there can also be a rejection of the process. But if everyone approves, depending on the level, then finally we get to this last to-do 7 that leads to a final approval of the purchase order. And depending on the outcome of the process, we also can set the status fields of the purchase order to certain statuses that we want. So we can control the process by this. Now I show you that in the system. I have all that already set up, but now I will show you how it really works, how it looks like. So I create a new purchase order. Just checking that the function cost server is running in the background. Yeah, it's running. So I create a new one. And buy some items. Okay, now it got it. I just leave the record once. Go back, and now we wait some seconds until the workflow is being created. Because we had certain use conditions set up for this workflow, I had set them up that, for example, it has to be some order in a status that is not yet released, and it must be over $1,000 at least. Otherwise, the workflow won't even trigger. And we have here a line amount of $2,000. So now I can go back, and we see that here is already a new to-do for someone. As we are here again in the administrator row center, I can see everyone's to-dos and workflows. We have always to think about the fact that in real life only the certain responsible team or the certain responsible employee would see his to-dos. So now we have here the first to-do created that is called Department Manager Approve. And as it is an approval, we take care by these kinds of approvals by a decision to-do. So I have here this Make Decision button active. I can click on that, and you have not the permission. Yeah, because it's not your to-do, Alma, sorry. Only workflow administrators may work on other people's to-dos, but I can put Alma into the workflow administrator team, and then we won't have that problem anymore. She's not yet in there, but I can put her in. And now I should be able to do the decision. And so I can select between OK and not OK. These options were also set up by myself before. So I select OK, and then the to-do is closed, and something else will happen. Just take some seconds. Let's see. No, it's still working on that. So we had approved it, but as the whole order was about $2,000, we don't need other higher levels of approval. So the process will already be more or less done. That's why we will directly come to the to-do that says purchase has been approved. This is really slow. Where is it? Scan check files. Let's see. Okay. This didn't happen.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Okay, you already closed it. Just let me check. Maybe I clicked too much and wasn't waiting enough. CFO approval. This is another. Okay. So we see the workflow is done and has also set our purchase order to the status released. Normally there should have been another to do, I would have expected, but we will just try another purchase order. I will show you now one with a higher line amount so that we get more approval levels. First, let me start again. That was wrong. Okay, so I start a new one. Now I buy a little bit more of those bicycles. Okay. Just leave the record. And we see that the status is of course still open of that purchase order at this moment. We see that the workflow is created and being calculated. So we see it also here in the row center again that we have one to do. And the workflow also for this starts, of course, again with the department manager approve. So the same thing, because it's over $1,000. And the department manager can approve that. And as we have now a higher value, also the other levels must kick in and give also their approvals. Now I know what's the problem. Now I see. I didn't change the date to today. Then the system has, of course...
You will wait 2 years for that order to go.
Now I know why. Okay. This was, of course, prepared on my desk. Okay. Then just let us forget that. And just very quickly do another purchase order. And then I buy even more bicycles.
Be magnanimous now. They've been waiting.
Okay, so then we have a new purchase order. Wait some seconds. Okay, now I have here again the to-do. The first to-do in this process, the department manager approve. I say again, okay. what I wanted. Updating. Okay. Okay, now I have closed the function call server. Just let me check, yeah. Okay. So one is here now waiting. Which one was it? This one was the one before. And this is already overdue now. Okay. So we have here the CFO approval in this case, because we had a higher value. Also he can take the decision, okay. This is not today. Today. Switched again, okay. So something with the dates was wrong, sorry for that. And now in this case, but we see that the managing director gets his to-do to approve. And he could, for example, say, not okay. So we could reject it. If that happens, we'll see now again in this now queue, because now the date is again set back to the right value. We see that the purchase rejected by managing director to-do has been activated. So somebody has just now to manually complete this task and say, okay, I have checked that. And with that, the process would end. And what we can see is that the purchase order stays in the status pending approval and won't change to released. If it was approved by everyone, it would have changed into the status released. So this is the process for this purchase order approval.
So, do you have any questions?
You know, right now it looks like we do not have any questions. But I will remind anybody, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into that question box. We'll call them out and get them answered for you. And of course, we have been recording this webinar, so if you want to watch it again, or if you want anyone else in your organization to see it, you can get onto our website, which is innovia.com, and the recording will be up by the end of the day. And guys, it looks like we do not have any questions.
Great. Good. And thank you very much, all of the attendees from Agiles, from Germany, from Hamburg in Germany here, and thanks a lot to Innovia for hosting this. It's been a great hour that we were able to spend with you. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, thanks so much. We'll look forward to seeing everybody on our next webinar.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.